In his epistle to the Ephesians, chapter 6, Paul writes about all kinds of prayers on all occasions for all of the saints. That means our praying needs to be for everyone, and it needs to be all the time. That's something maybe we can think about later. But that there are all kinds of prayers. So we have here an indication that prayer is more like a toolkit than just a single methodology. And the truth is that the different traditions of the church have often favoured and featured one or maybe just two. And the great thing about that is then they unlock great discoveries. The weakness is that people whose personality types doesn't necessarily fit with that particular model will struggle. To use a very simple example, if you go into some churches and say, let us pray, people adopt the shampoo position and everything goes silent until someone does a long soliloquy. Someone who's an extrovert finds that an extraordinarily difficult way of praying and will probably think they're bad at prayer, if that's their tradition. Now you go into other churches, it might even be a church in the same street, and say, let us pray, everyone starts shouting in tongues. And for the introvert, that can be an extraordinarily difficult environment. And so we're looking for all kinds of prayers for all people. Now, of course, as well as personality type, different types of prayer are for different situations. So there's a time for intercession and petition. There's a time for contemplation. There's a time for spiritual warfare. There's a time for prayerful reading of devotional materials. There are many ways of praying. And I think what will happen is we need to learn how to use all the different tools in the toolkit for different environments if we're going to grow in maturity. But of course, we'll be better at certain types rather than others. Some will naturally be more meditative and some will be naturally more external and petitionary.